Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, I am back to show you a very exciting new Heatmor card. Why do we get so many Heatmor cards in the Pokemon trading card game? I have absolutely no idea. Somebody designing cards clearly likes Heatmor, like I like Beware. Or indeed like they like Beware, because there's a lot of Beware cards coming out as well. He's got 110 HP, he is a basic, which means he can use Fighting Fury Bout to up his HP and do more damage, although as always, anytime you're looking at Fighting Fury Bout, you've got to remember that playing that means you won't be playing Choice Band. It means you can use Max Elixir to try and accelerate energy onto him when he's on the bench, and you can use Nest Ball to go and grab him. Being a fire type is good because Decidueye and Lurantis are good, and they're both weak to fire. But of course you are weak to water, which is kind of a bit rubbish because Lapras is good, and Alolan Ninetales is good, and Greninja looks just about set for a comeback, which is a little bit annoying. Speaking of annoying, retreat cost of 2 is a little bit awkward, but it's not the end of the world because you might well be using double colourless energy here, so you can retreat if you really have to. Starting off with his second attack, it's not particularly great. A fire and 2 colourless energy, so you can use double colourless energy here. 60 damage and automatic burn. Now the new burn rules we have are pretty nice. It means they always take at least 20 damage, and then between turns they flip a coin. Heads are no longer burned, tails they are. So you instantly do 20 damage, and if they flip tails they're still burned, and then after their turn ends they take 20 damage and flip another coin. It could add up. The problem here is that even though you can use double colourless energy and even though you can use Max Elixir, this is a very expensive attack and I just don't think it's worth it. Now with a Choice Band you're essentially doing 110 damage, 60 base plus 30 for the Choice Band plus 20 for the burn will leave you at 110, and that's if you only get one turn of burn. Now it does actually go up to 200 if you can hit against a Fighting Weak EX or GX, because of course you start off with the 60, you add the 30 for Choice Band to pop it up to 90, double it for the weakness goes up to 180, add the 20 for burn, and you're right up into 200 damage, which is pretty nice to be perfectly honest, but Lurantis has 210 HP and Decidueye has 240, so you're still not even getting one-hit KOs with a Choice Band on the really relevant Fire Weak GXs. Bit of a pain. I mean, to be perfectly honest, we've got Turtonator GX, we've got Volcanion, we've got better fire attackers. That's not why we love Heatmor. We love Heatmor for the first attack. For a double colourless energy, you get to flip 2 coins. For each heads, you search your discard pile for 1 card and put it into your hand. This should remind you of a couple of cards. First of all, we've got Sableye and his junk hunting. Now, Sableye was 2 item cards, and it was automatic without a coin flip, but it was only item cards. Whereas here, you can recover supporters, special energy, Pokemon, etc. If we look at Decidueye GX, you get 3 cards from your discard into your hand as your GX attack. This is very, very nice. Now, it is dependent on hitting heads, but don't forget we've got the Victini from Guardians Rising, which will allow you to reflip. So although you've only got a 25% chance of hitting 2 heads, you've got that chance twice with Victini out. Although do remember that if you hit 1 heads and reflip, you could then hit a double tails and get absolutely nothing. And it's very simple. If you hit a double heads, this is better than Sableye. And if you don't, it's not. But the fact that you can recover any card whatsoever, Decidueye players will be able to attest to this. Being able to recover any cards you like gives you so many options. Decidueye players very often use Hollow Hunt GX, and it really puts them in a great position for the rest of the game. They get back their item cards, their Versus Seekers, their energy cards, their Pokemon, etc. And it really does do them the world of good. It sets them up to win the game later on, and you can't really ask much more than that. Now, your opponent can always just play an N, just like after Hollow Hunt GX, but even if your opponent plays an N to make you pop those cards back into your deck, they were in your discard, they're now in your deck, so you're still in a better position than you were, although it is a little bit awkward that you would then have to put them into your deck, but you can get them back out again. As with everything here, it is a flippy attack, but you could potentially run this like the old Sableye deck used to run. Sableye, you would play it with Garbodor, and you would play Crushing Hammers and Enhanced Hammers and Delinquents, and not unlike Sylveon nowadays, you just play a whole bunch of Disruption cards and reuse them. And of course, you can keep reusing the same ones every turn because you're pulling them out the discard pile, whereas sooner or later you don't have the cards in your deck you want with Sylveon because you can only play so many of each card. Heatmor doesn't have that problem. He can reuse whatever he wants. But it's a flippy card, and I've said that a couple of times, and I'm sorry, but that's where Heatmor really comes down. But here's the thing about Heatmor. We look at it right now, and essentially, if you want to play a Disruption deck, you're better off with Lapras or Sylveon. But that's just with the cards we have at the moment. There is every possibility that in the future, new cards will come out that will make Heatmor absolutely brilliant. Think back to A-Spec cards that you could only have one of in your deck. Well, Sableye could get it back turn after turn, but Sylveon would only ever be able to search for it once, and that's kind of the point here. Maybe Heatmor's not amazing right now, although I personally think he's worth a play. Basic, colourless energy, double colourless, can go in any deck whatsoever. He's very techable. But maybe in the future new cards come out, and that's what makes Heatmor amazing. And that's why I'm going to give Heatmor 3 Wassies. Might be a little bit generous, feels a little bit generous, but remember the rule. 5 Wassie card means it's utterly amazing, 3 Wassie card means you need a couple copies in your binder. I don't think this is a card like Wailord where we can look at it and go, it's probably never going to be good. But it might make a fun rogue deck. This is a card where we look at it and go, all it takes is 1 or 2 other cards to be revealed, and this could be amazing. 3 Wassies is high, but I'm feeling it, ladies and gentlemen. I went there. Now, you know the deal. There is a comment section if you disagree with me. Go nuts. Be nice. Remember to like this video. Remember to subscribe to this channel. Follow me on Twitter @TheWassie. And the most important thing as always, look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.